Hi everyone, welcome to Authentic Ingenuity Entrepreneur. My name is Minna Crichton. Today's the 6th of April 2025. I'm the narrator of this video clip, and so I'm just going to do the usual, do an introduction and then go straight onto the topic that's on my heart. Today I will be continuing with the last from the last video clip where I was going over the judge's judgment. So I just feel today I will be going over the same thing with more evidence, because I think this information is actually very relevant with what I've gone through, and also the case is a criminal case. Okay, so what you will find on my YouTube channel, I'm a little bit annoyed with myself because I accidentally stopped that other video clip and I pressed the wrong button, and then oh my goodness, I have to start all over again. So yes. So what I'm actually going to be going on about today is about my court cases, and I'll do the usual, start with the intro before I go on to the topic that's actually on my heart today. Okay, so just before I go on to continue on with the video clip, I like to actually kind of get everyone into the mindset of where I'm coming from, and then go straight on to the topic. So then, because there's a massive difference when, for an example, if an investigator takes on board an actual case, it's not that easy to get into the mindset of a victim. So as you all know, I am a Christian, so I've been, that is my culture, my background growing up. So I would be actually talking from the perspective on the spiritual plane versus the laws, and how as a victim I see visually from what I've gone through, and it's the best way to explain the kind of systems that I've been subject to that is absolutely illegal. We're dealing with psychological and mental abuse, and the organised crimes system that this new age new world order is basically, without the organised system, it wouldn't exist. Okay, without the technologies, they couldn't do what they're doing now to anybody. So we're dealing with psychological and mental abuse. We're dealing with indirect crimes. We're dealing with human beings, setting up individuals or families, or taking down a business. It's easy to do. So that is what I've been subject to. So because of my background, I believe God is so wise and why He chooses, His people or certain people, because everyone is important and God can use anyone. So I just feel I am within my space and right to do what I'm doing as part of what I've gone through in my personal journey. So I've always been a single individual. Sorry, I've been an independent single individual most of my life. Okay, it was just the culture, it was just my environment, it was my set of circumstances. So I'm used to being independent. I'm an introvert. My culture also, because of my lifestyle and my environment, my occupation, and my private life, I'm one of these people. I don't mind people. I don't mind mixing and stuff like that. But I'm one of these people. I love my space. I like to be on my own and stuff like that. But so the advantage that I have found is that I am able to ascertain whether somebody is playing God with my life, meaning controlling and manipulating, or whether something is natural. So that's the advantage I have, and I can see quite clearly why it's so easy for the system to trap and use innocent civilians without them knowing that they're actually being controlled or manipulated, or is being lured to be set up to a plot. Relationship scams is easy to set up, but it's actually can be a negative plot because you don't know who that person is being used by. Okay, and common sense is, if you do your research in history, relationship scams were actually used quite often by gang members and other other people who are breaking the law, wanting to take over and steal. So it's nothing new really, it's just that this new age system allows it from happening because people are just using their occupation, and full espionage has definitely taken place. So in organized systems, I'm, like I said, I'm pretty experienced, so I can actually tell whether somebody is lying to me or somebody's giving me misleading information, or when somebody is withholding information. So to actually withhold information is also illegal. The tip really is, if you're unsure, find out for yourself. I've done basically one of these people that I need to know the truth. If I need to know something, I will find out the truth myself. Excuse me. And other than that, if it's it's not relevant or has nothing to do with me, then I won't, that I just wouldn't get involved, whatever it is. But yeah, it just takes a lot of experience to understand. However, if you are inexperienced, the system can actually stress people to the max, get people totally, just into a depression mindset, because these people, the system is not helpful if you're targeted. They don't make things easy for you, and unless you're knowledgeable or know your rights, your legal rights, it is very frustrating. And it can become a negative journey for everyone. Right, corporate espionage is definitely in place globally. But if something as bad as mine, like what I've gone through, corporate bodies can still be charged for corporate espionage if there has been a serious wrongdoing linking any serious crimes like trafficking in persons to any corporate bodies, whether there's been sabotaging or interference, which has happened very clearly in between with what I've gone through, which is not hard to prove at all. There are ways of finding out whether organized crimes or the corporate bodies have broken the laws internally. It's very easy to find out who's deleted what and why. It's easy to find out if something took place behind the scene. It's easy to find out. And it's also still really quite easy to link and find out who is behind the perpetrators, who are the perpetrators. Grooming, it's called grooming when people are being used. It's grooming, and it's also called trafficking when human beings are being used by other people to carry out their plans. Okay, so we're dealing with organized crime. So all these things take place on illegal projects on humans. The people behind what I've gone through did do a illegal scientific experiment on me. All this is just from retrieving all my data without my permission or unlawfully, and then they've gone around collecting data, whether it's also by just recording and espionage, listening to my phone conversation, and what I have found so evil and so wicked about what they've done to me. There are a lot of things in my past that hasn't been dealt with. So I have felt that some of the people abusing me behind the scene are the people monitoring me. So while all these things are happening, they're actually abusing me psychologically and mentally, and basically eat my words. So anything positive I say, they will do the negative, the opposite. And they've also animated me, meaning they've glued to me using other people to live my life, or stealing the good fruits. They've done this with me with a relationship scam, and it's quite obvious, and they are using the social media, and I can actually just ascertain exactly what they're talking about. A lot of what they've talked about is referring to me, but they've used me like a sport. So a lot of cultures and white supremacists have all taken turns, but this is how they're actually cheating in their court cases. That the evidence clearly shows that. And but it is really serious what they have done to me. So over time, I would be called what people call a whistleblower. Okay, a whistleblower is a person, if you don't know what that is a person who exposes corruption. Right? So what happens is everyone that has broken the law, or everyone that has, sticking up for their friends or their family, or think that they're gonna, do a special favor to help their, the company not get shut down or be charged criminal charges. So they use their job to do what they're doing. So eventually, over times, obviously a warlike evil spirit of bitterness and hatred for different reasons. So many things have happened in my journey that has nothing to do with me, or that has not been my fault. It's been mistakes of others, or others, have committed serious crimes and decided to take it to the grave instead of fixing it, or they may be the actual criminal. And then you get all their families and friends all joining forces. But what I have found is that they not only do that, but they've turned people like myself's lives into a commonwealth game as another way of hoping. And they obviously think that, they're wanting somebody to eventually kill the victims or eliminate them. That is quite clear of what they've done to me historically, and that's what we'll show on my profile. But behind the scene, we've got angry people, we've got people who are jealous, people with bitterness, bitter envy, all quite earthly minded people, carnal, you name it, just natural. All they care about is money. All they care about is their motive intent is self-seeking, and they don't care what they do, how they do it. They will just go with it. So that is the downfall of this new age robot system. If you become a victim to it, it is definitely dangerous. I have found the abuse, I would classify it as first. It could go into the elements or the components of first, second, third degree. Okay, so you got first degree murder, second degree, third degree. Depending on the set of circumstances, I can actually come up with evidence for all three of those. Okay, I'm not dead yet, but they'd come under conspiracy to commit an offence. Okay, guys, so clearly it's a global game, and its evidence can actually definitely show on my profile that globally corporate bodies and different cultures and countries have all participated in stalking me, and using different people within my environment to be their spy or an informant. And just to animate. If you watch all my other video clips, I've actually gone over the laws to prove that is actually illegal. So anyone who does this is illegal, and they can all be charged for a conspiracy, like for stealing, for using me for relationship scam and twinning and switching. All that is illegal. But it is a global game. If they get caught, it's a penalty of 20 years imprisonment. Nothing is impossible, even though it is very difficult. But I've basically set out this post as an example of how it actually is. I believe there's several perpetrators operating historically. I believe after they've studied me, after they've, did what they've done to me historically, common sense is, people will take advantage to use somebody for free money, or somebody's paying them or hiring them, and they're just listening to everything I'm saying, and then they're just texting each other, meaning that they've actually embedded themselves in your environment. They're using members of the public. If you go out on public and people come out of their homes, throwing things in rubbish, just signs like that where people are acting unusually not natural. Okay, it's just like straight away you'll automatically go, okay, why is that person doing that? Okay, I'm just explaining. It's not, you're not losing it, or you're not mentally impaired or anything like that. That's just a sign that something is wrong. It shouldn't be happening in any generation, but it is a sign, like a civil war, like gangs, that because they are coding and inciting. Because I couldn't understand in the beginning, why are all these people coming out when I'm by myself, or why are they behaving like as if like they know me, as if like they've got some kind of ulterior motive why they're in the, it's just not natural. Okay. And so I am used to it, and people doing that, but I won't accept it as natural. So I've had to complain, ring the police historically every time it's happened. And they've ignored it. So now my cases are quite serious against the government and those involved. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on. But this here is what they're doing. This is my set of circumstances. So while I was working for my employer, the Ministry of Justice, as a court deputy registrar, at the time, I know that there are people responsible to some of the things I've gone through over the years are using their jobs, and they're watching me like a hawk. Okay, so they can watch you. All they need to do is text somebody or their people, and then tell them where they are, what to do. So this has been my personal experience, and I can honestly say and be a witness to that they've actually studied me just by using the technologies, like in a scientific experiment, like some of the experiences they've done to me while I was working. For an example, they've known, because I've been a professional single parent most of my life, and I do recall times when I would go to work, or like for an example, I'll have a disagreement or something with my children or something, then I'd go home stressed. Like if you're around who as a parent can understand what I'm talking about when you got teenagers. And then but they were actually trying to catch me out when I am upset, or when I'm, just totally, I felt they were testing me under the camera, because I'm such a very self-controlled individual. I'm very strong, okay? There's a good strong and there's a bad strong. I don't, like some people behind the scene, they get a fetish kick out of watching other people suffer. I'm not that kind of a person, okay? So, but I am strong to stand against what is wrong. I am assertive to stand against what is wrong, because it's my right to. So then you'll get the other strong people who's full of pride, because that's what it is really. It's pride on their part. Just just want to feel superior kind of a thing over another human being. But that's my personal experience, what I've gone through. I believe the people responsible for some of the murders have been people behind the scene using their jobs for the wrong reasons. And then when they know that they're going to get into trouble, they leave the country and then change their name, but what they've actually done is committed very serious conspiracy crimes. Yes, it can still be undone. Okay, even if they've deleted the evidence, I am the evidence, and it's still easy for me to go and walk a criminal barrister or criminal anybody that in my expert field on the evidence, even if the evidence is not there. But I have found that they've committed serious crimes and then they've deleted evidence. This is from my own perspective because I've gone to look for the evidence, and it's like some of the evidence are not there anymore, but they did exist. Okay, they've done that. I believe they've done that intentionally. Whoever's behind it, they've committed some pretty serious crimes on me. So they, obviously they don't want anything to backfire on them years later, and they have gone and deleted the evidence. However, the evidence is still retrievable. There are other ways and methods to find out whether those things did exist. So this is the kind of a case mine has happened. It's a historical one. It's a left behind case. It's several perpetrators operating. They've just taken turns. What makes it more serious? It's global. Okay, so they've just taken turns taking someone down. They're so confident with what they do. They are in the moment in my space. They're using people in the apartment that I live in. When I was, just different times, I've rung the cops to complain about it and they've done nothing about it. But it has been continuous. They're glued to me. The evidence, the coding is also on the social media when they're sending me texts or emails. Like other times I felt like I'm, because we've got to now send stuff to the hub desk or email, everything's online. So other times I've just known I'm actually talking to the opposing alliances, whether these women are linked to the relationship scam of trying to steal Henry Cavill. But this is just an example, guys. Okay, so I have to describe where I'm coming from. And I feel like I've sent emails, they know exactly who I am, and then they're nice in the beginning, and then all of a sudden things change. So it's so easy to do the switching. So no one is safe. Okay, so whenever I feel so unsafe and I get frustrated, because keeping in mind this is continuous, they've all ignored it, they've actually let me suffer. It's been quite cruel and pretty inhumane. So it's crimes against humanity is what my case is. So I guess I'm just expressing what's actually taken place. So keep in mind, I'm actually the victim of crimes. I'm not the offender. The offender in my cases are the people in Crown. Okay, if you don't know who Crown is, they're the government. So what they've done, I've made complaints against different individuals, or for example, the medical practitioners. So instead of the Crown actually representing their victim, which I am the victim, they're representing their doctors. Okay, so there you go. But I am the victim, and I have that right to oppose everything they've written about me, things they've said about me. The whole idea, really, the government is meant to protect the innocent civilians, not those who are actually breaking the law. So the case is clearly criminal body corporate offences. So you need to actually build up your own case, okay? Because I have found that what they've done to me is so serious. While I was working for my employer, the evidence clearly show that individuals within the corporate bodies and different agencies have actually dug up my life, okay? They've dug up my profile without my permission, with no real reason to, because usually when somebody's committed, like for an example, a drug ring or something, if they have some kind of suspicion of that, then that's probably the only kind of time, that investigations can take place on an individual. But that, even if they're using the laws, they have to be careful because it can backfire. And I guess my case is one of those where now I know without a shadow of doubt before God and before, the laws and stuff like that, I'm talking about legally, they have nothing on me. Okay, so now I can actually prosecute every single body corporate involving my profile for misconduct, for unlawful investigation, for a party to a conspiracy of what I've gone through personally as the victim and as an individual. They've also damaged my not only have damaged my reputation, over during this journey, just with what they've done to me secretly without my permission, but they've also damaged my property. So your property can be like the court cases. That's my property. Okay, anything about me is my property. Okay, unless I have signed my rights like an attorney, a power of attorney, over to somebody, that is the only time that somebody can represent me. Now, I have a reasonable belief everything they've used, like even the misuse of the Mental Health Act, I believe the people whoever's behind what I'm going through have used that, intentionally broken the law to use that on me after using me while I was working for my employer, so they can have the power of authority over me like a property. I have not, there's clear evidence that that I'm not mentally impaired or at all, and so I believe that's why they actually use the act on me, so then whoever's behind it can have full control of me as an individual. Okay, so but they don't have any rights to me. Okay, and they still don't at this point. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So this here, we're talking about extortion. It's actually extortion by different states, different cultures, and different secret societies. They've all used me like a compass. It's illegal in any generation. It's illegal. What I have found is another sign of they come out in their yellow cars and then they come out with a trailer. There's definitely a pattern there, but if I have found the laws, if you go watch all my other video clips, I've actually gone over the changes in the laws, and they've actually set out the government system to do what they've done to me to other people. It's quite clear that's what they're doing. I'm only lucky, not actually lucky, I'm actually very blessed that I've actually left sufficient evidence to undo everything and claim my life back as mine, because it is mine, because they have animated me. But what I have found historically, they've used me and then they've given the money or whatever it is that is linked to me, that is my idea, or I actually legally own, okay, the word is legally owned, or because it was my idea to legally do things, and they've actually given it to somebody else. Okay, so they've done this also for movie ideas. Other cultures are animating originals. Okay, they're actually secretly animating originals. That is my discovery on, when I watch TV, I'm like, that can't be happening, but it is. But other countries and cultures, and the animating individuals' families pretending to be them, and then that is what they're doing on the on social media or on TV. That is what I've discovered. So congratulations to those who've come on board with my case. You're doing a good job because it is working, but that is what they have done to me historically. That is what the evidence clearly show. Okay, so people will be made accountable no matter. What usually happens is they find out who was in charge at that point of time in the original's personal space according to the laws, and who has perverted the course of justice and has not done their job. So they would definitely be charged to the fullest extent of the law for criminal charges. So that's what's happened to me and my family, and that is the danger of a breach. Okay, so what happens, the originals eventually get buried, and then other secret societies are stealing their good fruits or pretending to be them, but it's deception. Okay, so the most dangerous thing about it is that most of the civilians in my journey hasn't known that they're actually in danger. Okay, because that's what a breach does. That's what espionage does. That's what secret societies are doing, and we're talking about motive and intent. Okay, so whether the motive and the intent of these secret societies were evil, or criminal liability has taken place where they've taken advantage of an individual or advantage of another group of people. And that is what they have done, in my case, quite clearly. So, people are racist in that anyway, naturally, but they have done the game, turn it into a Commonwealth game. So, everyone that's joining the game, to them, it's only about money, reputation, and they don't care about what happens to the originals. And the danger about it is the originals don't even know they're in danger, but they are. The game can backfire on those that actually participate because, they do things, they're paying the money. But it is known that these people will use people and then kill them and take all the money back. Okay? So that's the risk you take if you participate in anything you know nothing about. It makes you obligated to the people that you have betrayed, to the people that you've chosen to side with by treason, okay, or perjury. Okay, so you automatically broken the law. But it can backfire you. Those people that are the perpetrators using you can still murder you and steal the money back, because that has happened. Okay, I've seen these kind of things happen, but that is a risk of making wrong decisions. The other things that can happen is that if you are unaware quite easily, people just use you. And I believe Henry Cavill's been used for that historically. He's an actor. So that's a very good example of the things he's gone through personally. And then you have other powerful people, all they care about is money. They've taken his rights and everything, making it their own. So he's, his life has been in danger, but quite clearly the evidence show, and I'm actually a witness to that, is that he has definitely been trafficked, and he definitely was set up in a lot of things. And that's another story on its own. But that's just a good example. But my case is exactly the same, and it's easy for me to undo everything criminally. So I'll just carry on. But this is what it takes place, okay? Just for an example, let's just say that this here is the original. The game is called Cats. You know how they've got the gangs in that, or any criminal serial alliances, they have their coding methods, they have their symbols. So I think this one here is called Cats. The zombie people, the spying, so they're reliant on their informants to always have the upper hand on the originals. So if the originals are not aware they're in danger, I'm telling you that their motive and intent is criminal. They will kill. Okay, I have to be straightforward. They will kill for what they want. Okay, and it's more dangerous if it's internal corruption. So that's where I'm at with all my cases that I'm actually able to prove, but publicly. All right, so what I'm going to go through today, I'm talking too much. Sorry for trying not to make my videos so long. But today I'm going to be talking about Citymed, okay? The last video we were talking about Ministry of Health. So Citymed and Ministry of Health are joined together. Okay, so these two cases are joined together. They have the same number. Here's the same number here. And it started off with an judiciary review. Okay, so there's quite a lot of judges involved in my case. I think the last time I counted, I think it's 18, 19 judges in one case, which is very serious. All right, but yeah, everything is makes sense to me because it's my journey and it's me going through it, and I'm self-litigating my case. By law, I'm entitled to do this. The old system. I've actually taken court cases where individuals and members of the public have represented themselves, and they've actually won quite fairly. Okay, so usually a criminal judge doesn't care about your background. They mainly care about the laws. They're quite strict. So I found that the system is taking out good people like myself, like with the kind of experience I'm talking about. Like I would class as a no-nonsense sort of a person. So yeah, I have found it quite hard that, all these laws have been broken and people are doing what they're doing to me. But in a criminal jurisdiction, the laws is what the judges usually usually abide to, and that is what they do their audit, and they don't take serious cases like mine like a joke. Okay, so I'm going to just focus on the Citymed case. These two corporate bodies, there's a total at the moment 6 corporate bodies court. So what I found secretly, the court staff or the people in between are sabotaging everything. They're retyping everything, which is even really serious. Okay, I've done things and I've gone back. I was like, okay, what happened to that? So I have found that they've actually retyped a lot of my applications. That's proven in my case, which is very serious on its own. Or they've also hacked my laptop or my folders, and they've deleted stuff, and then they've replanted evidence in my folders. And I was like, I know I've done that. Okay, so what they're doing is these are my personal experience of what's happening to me in the moment. Those people can still be caught, okay, and no doubt they will go to prison. But these are my personal experience in the moment. It's still happening now. And so I had a hearing with Citymed, and the person for this, here it is. Okay, what happened here? Okay, so the hearing took place on the 22nd of February 2023. Okay, there was I felt the courts actually set me up, because they are the courts. When I say the deputy registrars, I have found trading in influence with the councils in my cases. Okay, so they're helping each other. They all know I'm very experienced and everything and all the rest of it. This case here, I actually remember this day. The actual case officer was Sharik Ali. So I was going through all kinds of things where they would not, they would not inform me. They were in the moment deceiving me. Okay, and I recall turning up really early at court for this hearing. I arrived there at, I think, 8:30 a.m. at the High Court. Everyone that knows me personally knows I'm a very on time, like time management. I'm never late. Okay, anything I'm talking about, even in my private life, I'm never late. Even when I used to go to church, there's sufficient evidence to prove that time management. I'm very organized. Okay, very organized sort of a person. For me to be late to something, something important has to happen why I am late. And usually if I'm late, I would let the people know something's happened, but it's very rare I do that. Other than that, I'm never late. I'm never late to work. I'm always on time. I'm never late to any church meetings. I'm always on time. So I do have insufficient evidence I'm that type of person that my time management is like, I'm very sufficient. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm very efficient with everything I do. Even with my complaints, they say, the people can go, oh, she complains about everything. But who wouldn't if you've gone through this? And we're talking about a person being blacklisted, a person being blacklisted and on a black market. Okay, it's a trafficking ring. So all the complaints is clear evidence that these corporate bodies are all participating, keeping in mind they're coded me, and then they're also inciting me like a product on TV, on social media. So they're always personally attacking me, okay? So common sense. A pat on the back for me for being efficient, because all that is now evidence. So on this day, the judge for this case is Campbell J. Okay, I find what I've gone through really traumatizing, because during the judiciary review cases, I felt like I was begging the court to help me. Okay, they did nothing. I'm being personally victimized. I would go out and then the public will victimize me personally. And it's not funny. I mean, the things they're doing is disgusting. It's degrading, and it's mental injury has taken place. So all the other laws that involves a victim, it's all applicable to sue and to press criminal charges to these corporate bodies involved. The Crown for this case is Key Chambers. Okay, Key Chambers was still Hannah Stewart, and I think who was the other? See if I can find something here. Just give me a sec. I mean, this is a very serious perjury case, all right? Here it is. Hannah Stewart and A.H. Watkins. Okay, they were the counsel for Steve Colpin. Okay. What I also found very bad about this case is that they charged me to pay their client. So that's quite serious. Okay. But this is quite evidence. I just need to show this evidence. Going to make the whole idea is to make sure it doesn't happen to another person again. Okay. So this here is one of the council's correspondence. Also, it's proof that that my court case is legit. There's a lot of pure evidence of that. Okay. So there you go. This is what I have found appalling, disgusting in my case. I'm the victim. They've committed the crime on me, and they're not only sabotaging, breaking every single law in the book, but they charged me costs. Okay, Ministry of Health has done the same, and so has the Ministry of Justice Crown. Note to the others that I'm still waiting for an order, because they're doing it. I have found that what they're doing, this is where the public deception and all their secret petition is, because they know they're creating evidence, because they know that my case is with the judge for the judge to actually make a decision. So just by the public deception and the animation, okay, going on indirectly, globally, like in public. What's actually happening is that somehow it's getting to the judge who's making the decision, and this is where you get unlawful strikes. But this is why it is so serious to to that if you're so sheltered like I have. But this is the deception and the trickery of the secret society game that is so illegal. I hope you'll get what I'm trying to say. Okay. So that's why every time when I see the social media and I was denouncing all these women, it's because I knew that they were doing that intentionally to create fraudulent deception. Also because they knew that that my case is with a judge, for the judge to make a decision. Okay, so somehow gossip goes through, and then that's dangerous, and that's why the public deception is fraud. Okay, but those people who are doing that, they all can be charged for conspiracy. Okay, especially if it's linked to something, to sabotage or something fraudulent, and what you're actually doing publicly is actually fraud. That's a crime. That becomes a conspiracy. So it pays not to do things as a joke, because some things you can be charged for. But that is what I have found with this case. Okay, I did win this case. I proved, I did submit sufficient evidence to prove to the court that Citymed, did break the law. That was Steve Colpin. He wrote a medical a medical assessment report without my permission. Okay, I didn't consent to him contacting my family GP, because there's evidence there that why they used the Mental Health Act on me was because of the unfair dismissal, because of Steve Colpin's medical assessment that was fraud. Okay, so it was proven in the courts. My video clips clearly articulates that, but just for those that are new on board, that Hannah Stewart didn't even know that her client was a occupational therapist. If you don't know what that is, he was a sports doctor. He didn't even have the. He had operated out of his scope. He had made a report on my mental health. He wasn't even qualified to do that. So so I proved that in an open court before Judge Gordon in the High Court. So that is why I'm pressing criminal charges. This is a clear case of criminal charges. And I might as well, get to the point of what they've done. Historically, the system, what they have done, I have a reason to believe some white extremists and the Māoris, okay? And just keep in mind, they are the defendants, and keep in mind that just because one person has broken the law, they do not represent all the other Maoris, all the good people. And that's the same for other cultures. The defendants, they do not represent all the other good people. Okay, but the focus here is to ascertain who's broken the law. Who are the people that have broken the law, because that's the reason why we have laws. And that is what's the main important. They are the defendant, and if they're not removed, if it's not dealt with properly publicly, these people become a danger, because they will just do it to another innocent civilian. So Hannah Stewart has been the same barrister, okay, from Key Chambers since 2016. But what I have discovered is that because they've turned my life into like a cultural thing, everybody within the government that's on their side have all participated in sabotaging an innocent person and endangering other immediate innocent civilians in my private life. Okay, that is what the illegal Commonwealth Games. So they're actually not only using the court system, for scams and and using me for money laundering and other things. That's illegal. Okay, so I'm contesting all that. So what actually happened? So that's what's actually happened. All the other court registrars have sided because of their job. They think that they're going to do their job a favour for each other and help each other. But little do they know, everybody's accountable and they'll be made liable as an individual. So these are just all the names of the different people that handled the file going back to 2017. There's a date here. Okay. And what I have also found is that I know that some of these people may have been charged or stood down. And then obviously they go get their lawyers. Okay. I'm the victim, by the way, guys, and they've done wrong to me. But I feel this is another reason why they've pinned me down, and then I get different people attacking me when I'm by myself. So I don't know whoever created the system. I don't know. I haven't found it safe for myself. I'm constantly fighting for my rights. I'm constantly on the defense. Everything I do, people are stealing. And they're watching me financially on my bank accounts. As soon as, they've taken me, they're intimately glued, reading everything I'm doing, and then sabotaging and stealing. Okay. Also keep in mind, guys, in my other video clips, I actually talked about I am a victim of rape. So what they have actually done is they have actually dug up my past, and then I know without a shadow of doubt, they've, got, their families and their friends in my space monitoring me, all right? Or people that have stolen from me in the past, monitoring me, and this explains why I have not been able to advance. Okay, so all the evidence, all these registrars here, they were all involved in my case. Everyone will be investigated because it is a conspiracy. Because people, I have found some of them, they've broken the law, and then they help each other leave the country and change their name. Others, I know that they've also, money laundering has taken place secretly, where they've stolen from me, and then they've split money, and then that's what they've done. Okay, so it's quite a serious case, and I feel I am obligated to let to share my case. When I was actually representing myself, they've known my financial situation, okay, and they want to make it out there that I'm being a person from poverty, and stuff like that. But if you go back into my court case and bring out the whole profile, it's quite clear. Yes, definitely, I'm definitely not being, I don't come from money. I'm just one of these people who started off humble beginnings, worked my way out all the right way. Okay, God's definitely blessed me in so many things, and there's no reason for me to actually go forward financially, but I've had a difficult situation out of my circumstances. It's a case of family violence involved with 3 young children. So I did have a final protection order on my ex. We divorced in 2006. So I've been my children were my world, and I did everything I could to protect them. And I believe I've done a very good job in that, because now they're all independent, doing their own life and that. But that is my set of circumstances. All those kind of things are taken into consideration by the judge. Okay. But I am representing myself. It's been a very painful, dangerous situation because it's reliving the facts. But I have found that they have dug up my past, and then they've embedded and linked themselves and paired themselves up with people in the church. Okay, that's what cybercrime does. And this is explained, you quite clearly can tell in my profile they've made me go round in circles. And I've actually exhausted the government system, so which makes it quite serious. And it has been a global game, and it is very serious and very dangerous. So these are all the names of all the court staff involved going back to 2016. Some of them are not there anymore. But that is what happens in a conspiracy. Everything gets undone to find out the truth and who's missing and what happened to such and such person. But everything's done in advance, okay? The system is set out to do what they've done to me in advance, to code everybody that is the original. And then, you know, of course, they don't want anything to backfire. And then they're actually, like, for a good example, what's happened to Henry, he suffered significant sufferings. There's so many things you guys don't know, but I am a witness to the fact that people like Natalie Vasquiso and then her pretend Henry Cavill imposter, okay, he's an imposter. Henry supports me in that area to expose all that, but I'm just using this as an example. They're living off his good work, okay, and they've never been legally married. It's a PR relationship, a working relationship, like a contract, but he wasn't even in a contract. It's all a made-up thing by the public to attract the public. So everything that I've said about her on my Facebook page and on my YouTube channel is true. Okay, it's absolutely true. And it can be used against them because I'm actually contesting the deception. So in other words, Henry could get murdered, I could get murdered, and then Natalie Vasquiso and her imposter Henry Cavill can actually steal, just like what they did to me with Unison Dance Crew. Okay, what I'm going through is exactly the same. Same scenario, okay? Everyone knows I'm worth a lot of money. That belongs to me. Anything monetary wise, it actually belongs to me. No, nobody else legally. And that's the same thing with Henry Cavill. Even though he's had his past with his acting career, legally by law, everything belongs to him. All right. He can actually contest that with his PR managements. He can contest all that. And, you know, he's been through hell of a lot, but he's been fighting for his life. He is the original. I am the original. He's actually a really good, decent man. He really is. And our testimony together is actually a testimony to God's power. Like, you know, and also... sorry, try not to get upset. Just the shock of what God has put me through. But here, okay, this is Anna Ollie. She's, you know, all this was set up. Okay, she's sabotaged my case. Okay, these people do not deserve their reputation to be protected. They need to be exposed. Okay. So this is just confirmation, but this is how dangerous it is, okay? I've got all their families and all their friends in my personal space, micromanaging, organising, and it's been hell, okay? And then I get all the other people, you know, who hates my kind of people, okay, mocking, you know, and doing really rude, disgusting, cowardice, indirect acts, gestures, because they hate my guts, and the whole idea for them is they're hoping somebody will, you know, they can get away with their crimes by getting rid of someone permanently, you know, through murder. Okay, so I hope you'll get that point. So I think I will leave it there. So Citymed is fraud. Ministry of Health is fraud. I have already pressed criminal charges. I've pressed Citymed one charge on Citymed only at this stage. It's only just participating in organised crime because of his one-sided evidence where he has made it was because of his report why I lost my job. Okay, he made a mental health report on my mental health without even having a one-on-one consultation with me. He had operated outside of his scope. So, you know, and I also had a medical certificate from the doctor, from my actual family GP at that point of time to let the ministry know that I wasn't even on any mental health medication. Okay, my doctor, Dr. Rera Mooney, I support her innocence in this. But you know, it's their job and all they can do is just protect themselves. But that is the evidence. She actually wrote a medical certificate. That medical certificate is actually an exhibit in the profile to let that I actually let Dan Brady know. I actually told him at the meeting and I gave it to him. Tried to show it to him that my family GP had written a medical certificate to say as proof that I'm not on any mental health medication. In fact, a lot of her medical certificates she's written for me over the years, she clearly described what was the cause of the stress. The cause of the stress and things I was going through at that point of time was being discriminated at work. Okay, I'm telling you what the ministry did to me while I was working. It was disgusting. It was appalling. It should never have happened. But it was just from the misuse of devices they were able to do that. And they were psychologically, mentally abusing me, making death threats while I was at work. Okay, that's very serious. So I'll leave it at that. And one more thing before I go. So there's several judges in my case. Like I was saying, I believe what I've gone through is actually white extremists, the Maoris, the Indians, and the Tongans. Like because these are the cultures that are standing out in my profile. But also keep in mind that these individuals that are breaking the law, they are breaking the law. They stand before the judge that sentences them as an individual. They do not represent their whole country, or their whole culture. Okay, so just get that in mind, guys. Okay, but they have broken the law, and by law they should be charged, not just step down. So I'm just going to carry on. So, I mean, they already know they've done wrong. They're already guilty according to the law. They knew it was wrong. They knew I was innocent. However reason, they're all accountable as an individual. So this here is actually proof of a notice of case conference. I think this was the first hearing. This going back to Tuesday, 4th of July this is the first one of the first hearings before Judge Hinton. The other thing I have found that they are glued, they study to me, and then like they're glued. When I say they're glued, they're monitoring everything I'm saying, and then they're doing the damage in between. So when I go to send my documents, it's the in between. They're interfering, they're altering, retyping, and that's my personal experience. Okay, so this here was the other one for the Judiciary Review Conference. Okay, this is just evidence that definitely took place. So what you're actually watching is a real life legit case. Okay, so the scientific experiment is a one-sided case. They have actually split up my case. Like when I actually submitted my documents for judicial review, I actually asked the court registrar at that point of time several times. I keep asking them or telling them or reminding them, but they're not doing anything I say. They're just doing their own thing. And I asked them to actually keep my file together with one judge, because it's several corporate bodies, but instead they split my file up so different people are all having a bit of piece of me. Different people, it's just been inhumane. It's just, but this is where you get the mixed match evidence on people's profiles. So if anyone's gone through what I've gone through, it is very likely they've gone through exactly what I've gone through, but they haven't not known. Okay, guys, so it is illegal to break the law. So we're dealing with unlawful strikes, which is fraud, if you don't know what that is. So it is actually 14 years corruption by the judiciary, or for the actual court registrar, 7 years. Okay, but I've done my research, even though the system has changed. The court deputy registrar, even though they are the judiciary in law, but they are actually a separate entity from the judiciary. Okay, there's clear evidence that's very likely that the judges are being set up. It's either they didn't get all the relevant information, and so that falls on the courts. Okay, it doesn't fall on the judge. The old system that I'm used to, which was Department of Courts when I was a court registrar, it is the court registrar's duty to actually put the judge first. It is their duty to make sure that the judge does not write any unlawful strikes decision, obviously, okay, because he's going to be, he's writing something about an individual's life. So if the court registrars have done that, have not, have show signs that they've committed perjury, okay, they've done perjury of some sort where they've used their job to sabotage another person, then the court registrar automatically gets charged, okay, because they've automatically participated in corruption. So in law and even in the system still, even though the corporate bodies have set out the Ministry of Justice as the whole government, okay, but according to the laws, they're still separate entities. All right, so that's the tip of the day. So what will happen in my case, the judges can, if the judge finds out that court registrars didn't give them that, then the deputy registrar can get fined. I don't believe that they should be just stood down. I think that they should be charged according to the laws, because they already knew they did what was wrong. So it's a case where it's actus reus case, organised crime, is that they're guilty, all right? They're already guilty. They knew it was wrong, but they did it anyway. Okay, even to not even use your authority on a case when you're supposed to, that's still wrong. And I just know people, honest people like myself, are quite ruthless with serious crimes like that. But it is serious and it is dangerous. So I'll just finish this video now. I've gone over that longer than I needed, but it's the information is beneficial for everyone, I guess. So also with the old court system, the judges and the court registrars' names were never private. Okay, they're always all out in public. Why? Because they represent the public. It's public welfare. They're there to protect the public. They're not there for themselves. They're not there, it's taxpayers' money. They're not there to to use their public office for the wrong reasons. That's why we have laws. But the old system, the judges and the court deputy registrar, that's public knowledge. Okay, they don't get any special thing just because of their job. If you're scared of your job, then get a new job. That's my attitude. But integrity is a one-way track, and if you decide to use your job for the wrong reason, guarantee it will always backfire. Okay, so if you know you're guilty, there's a reason for that. But that's corruption. But I also know that the laws, if people knew their laws and abide to the laws, the spirit of integrity definitely will flow through that agency or flow through the government. Okay, because I just know people in fiduciary duties, or those that are honest, they're law-abiding citizens, and they won't break the law, okay? Others break the law because they're actually quite confident that they can do it, and they think that person, they're going to get away with it. That's what's happened in my situation. But what has been dangerous for me and my family and everyone else is that it's because it's global. They've turned it into a Commonwealth game, and they're coding people globally, okay? So eventually people's bloodline can be eliminated. But I'm telling you, it is really easy to steal and steal from individuals and their families, the way the system is. They're forcing everyone to go online. We don't have a choice to go online. But the reality is gangs manifest in these type of system. I'm not speaking for all gangs, because not all gangs are bad, but the other people are paying these people to break the crime, and it's easy to do. All right. Okay, I will end it there, but the thing is, if you've committed treason in New Zealand, you've automatically disqualified yourself. If you've linked yourself to the relationship scam globally, you've already disqualified yourself. If you've linked yourself to the people that I'm talking about, because I can tell you they have, you are already disqualified yourself according to the New Zealand laws. Treason's taken place, and you'll be charged for that according to the laws. I have found in the moment that these people are making threats in the moment by email, by when they text things or sending me things on apps and stuff like that, and just the enemy letting me know they're in my space. You can still be charged for treason for that, okay? If I think you have a reason of belief that you are part of this criminal alliance, that's, if it's outside of New Zealand, whatever it may be, it's treason, okay? So guys in New Zealand, in public office, and those in government, you've already broken the law. What I've also found quite cunningly, they've coded me for years, okay? So it's very easy for me to know exactly what they're doing. But they're just using words, a specific word for coding, just to let their people know what's going on with the court cases, or where the court cases are happening. Okay, so here I am, I'm waiting for all these things to come through, or for all I know, other people are secretly stealing because they've stolen my identity. So it's been a really traumatizing time for me, and very frustrating in every sense of the word. But I will leave it at that, guys. I hope you enjoy this clip.